warn you, there's something about to change. We're standing at the border where history is made. We're cranking up the lights now so everyone can see. It's all happening right now. We're gonna make you believe. It's about to get crazy. It's about to go down. It's about to.
Hi, Chase Shurik here with my partners in crime. I've got Chris Smith, Cole McCoy, and Lord have mercy, we've been fired up about this one. We've been quiet in terms of promotion, but you guys are going to hear all about this one. We have Cody Askins with us. Cody, we appreciate you joining us today, man.
Dude, thank you so much, man. I just noticed we got Chase, Chris, Cole, and Cody. You got to be, Ramid screwed it up last week, but it's, we got the 4 C's today. So
it's going to be awesome. We're excited about this. We've been to 8% Nation. We've followed everything you guys have going on. We want to kick today off with, number one, just thank you again for participating. And we want to start today with we want to know what's going on. What's shaking in Cody Askins' world right now? What's happening?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's busy. We got the whole team, about 30 from in office, working from home. I'm managing our sales team on Zoom, so they're physically on webcam all day. I can see them all day. Just really ramping up, man. I mean, right now, when people are sitting, like a lot of people could use right now as an excuse to really not do anything naturally. And I may not get as controversial as Ramiz likes to get, but he's my good buddy. But you know what? When everybody else is kind of like retreating, it's a habit of mine to like look for opportunity. And right now, my brain is more creative than it's ever been in my whole life.
I love it. I love it. That comment right there reminds me of one of the videos you did where it's like people freak out when they see bigger premiums. No, I'm going all in on it. That's awesome, man. We're excited about what you guys have going on. Love kind of watching the content that you continue to put out as an organization. Love what you're doing from an entrepreneurial standpoint. It'd be a no-brainer for us to get you on here for the Entrepreneur Series. But want to ask, in terms of, for those that maybe are new to Cody Askins, hard to believe when you have thousands and thousands and thousands of subscribers already on YouTube, but when you're running into somebody who's new to you and not familiar with what you guys do and your story, you mind sharing us just a little bit? You're a young guy, 28, 29. I mean, you're under 30 years old and you're building an empire already. You mind sharing your story with us a little bit?
Dude, happy to, buddy. And Justin Brock mentioned that the other day, he ran across somebody that didn't know me. And honestly, in this industry, we are trying to get attention and help agents. Large majority of agents still have no clue who we are, which is why we do what we do every day, which is why we pumped out 2,000 videos, and we're going to keep it rolling. A lot of the cool stuff that you guys are doing, trying to do that kind of stuff too, right? So my story is I got started in the business when I was 19 as an intern while I was in college playing basketball. So I went to Little Baptist Bible College and played basketball, took 21 credit hours a semester. Little point guard, fast, I could dribble, cannot shoot. All right. So don't challenge me in a shooting competition. I will lose. All right. And I was an intern making cold calls out of a phone book for a veteran agent. And I quickly learned that I'm a competitive guy. I'm like, you know what? I think I can do this, man. So I committed. 20 years old. I was in college again, taking 20 credit hours a semester, playing basketball, practices, games, tournaments. Could have made a lot of excuses. I don't have time. All the general excuses everybody else would make. And I committed to becoming an agent. And I remember my first little recruiting meeting. There's 10 of us in this meeting, and the manager says, "Okay, there's 10 of you in here. All 10 of you stand up right now." I'm like, "Okay, all right." So we stand up. We start looking around, sizing each other up. All right, okay. And he said, "All right, you 9, sit down. Okay, you stay up. You 9, sit down." And he says, "Maybe one of you will make it." And I'm like, dude, this is a real positive way to start this whole thing, man. But internally, I'm a very competitive, driven individual. If you ever take a DISC assessment, I'm 100 on a D and a 90 on an I. So that kind of woke me up to say, if there's going to be a 1, I'm going to be the one. And so we all know the theme: 92% of agents fail. But in that moment, I actually committed. I actually physically took a piece of paper and wrote down, I will earn $100,000 my first year in the insurance business. I don't care if I'm 20. I don't care if I don't have a sales experience or insurance experience. I don't care if I'm in college. I don't care if I'm playing basketball. I dated it. I signed it. And I put up on the wall in my cubicle. And then every day I went out to make a reality of that. And I did it through strictly cold calling and cold door knocking. And I ran the numbers. I'm a numbers guy, and figured out, okay, you got to sit down with 10 people and ask 10 people to buy every single week, right? I asked some other people and really ran some math. And once I did that, I did well. And so after 8 months of cold calling, cold door knocking, doing whatever it took, doing stuff other people didn't want to do, I was very fortunate to earn 117 grand in my first 8 months as a captive agent, 35% comp, all that. So.
I love it, man. I number one, the story never gets old to me. I've heard the story before. I still love that you bust out the whiteboard at an unbelievable event like 8% Nation. I love that you'll bust the whiteboard out and you still love doing the math. You still love breaking down the numbers for somebody. And it's almost like a magician. Like, you'll point anybody out in the crowd and be like, tell me what you want to earn. I'll show you how to break it down. I love that about the simplicity of it, but it's real. I love that part.
Thank you so much, man. That means a lot. I'm honored to hear that you guys were at 8%. That's an event that I'm personally probably as passionate about that event of anything else I am passionate about, honestly, because I want to give back to insurance agents. I was at 10X, Grant Cardone's event in Vegas. I'm sitting there a couple of years ago, and I'm like, man, our industry needs something like this. I'm sure we'll talk about later, our industry, the average age is 59 and a half. We sit in boring ballrooms and everybody's like falling asleep, and it's all about carriers, and it's like, dude, it's our industry needs something to wake them up, and so doing that has been tough. It's been the toughest thing I've ever done. I've lost over $500,000 doing it, and I'm gonna keep trucking and keep doing it, man. I love it. I have a passion for it, and I guarantee you we'll have 10,000 agents in attendance at 8% Nation in the future. Guaranteed.
I have no doubt about that. You guys are just getting started. I'm going to give your buddy a shout out. I think the world of Landon. Landon is – I could not believe in Dallas as I'm sitting there. I'm ready for Remiz Day 2. I'm ready for, the podcast Boys from Alabama. They were awesome. Eric was awesome. Everybody was great. I'm sitting there in awe of the fact that Landon just gives away all of these, what everybody else would consider secrets. I was blown away. And I said that on the Remiz podcast too. Like, he literally just taught everybody ins and outs, ads, this and that, and he was just giving it away. That in itself was worth its weight in gold for somebody in the audience to learn how to pick that up. That was awesome, man. That blew me away.
Thank you, buddy. I mean, his heart's in the right place. He loves marketing. He has a degree in marketing. He's been doing it. He's a lot older than me. He's 35. He's an old man. He's been doing marketing for a long time, but man, I mean, his motto is people work with people who educate them. And when it comes to marketing, that dude educates people.
Yeah. We the three of us like working together for many different reasons, but it's like you just said, we like to elevate each other. Chris elevates me, Cole elevates me, and that goes all the way around. You just touched on something that I know is one thing that Cole wants to bring up and talk to you about in terms of age. I'm not going to say age discrimination in our business, but the normal age demographic is a bit older, as you mentioned. Cole, I know this was something you definitely wanted to bring up and talk to Cody about.
Yeah, for sure, man. Not to throw jabs at the older guys. I know a ton of killers who are old guys, who are out, old guys. I'm not calling you old, but older than us, right? Who are out killing it. But what I'm noticing too is this final expense specifically, more and more is starting to become a young man's game. But that's not to disparage the older guys. Like, again, I think this all goes down to mindset. There's always a solution if you're willing to find one. But what I wanted to hear from you, Cody, being as accomplished as you are and as young as you are, how do you respond to folks? Because I know there's a lot of younger folks listening who have a lot of knowledge and experience. Maybe they've already got their 10,000 hours in to become an expert in our business. What would you say to those people when maybe their wisdom is questioned because they are so young? Like, how would you respond to something like that, to maybe bring some confidence for the younger guys as well.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm glad you bring that up because, and I love that you twisted it into a positive for younger agents, because there's a ton of people getting into the industry. I truly believe, and I'm gonna give some other facts as well, but I truly believe it is the greatest industry on planet Earth. Yes, I believe it's the hardest industry on planet Earth, but I believe the greatest should be the hardest, right? Also, there are more millionaires in this industry than any other industry in the world. Like, there's some real math to support it, right? As a young dude, I had to get great at something I was not good at. And I would pop in Brian Tracy's audiobook, The Art of Closing the Sale, and listen to it, all day, every day in the car. I didn't listen to music. I believed in committing to winning and getting better. And even today, honestly, like 2 years ago, September of 2018, 1 month before 8% Nation, the first one, I had never thrown a birthday party before. I paid 19 grand to go speak at Insurance News Net and in front of like 250 people or whatever. And we were sponsor of 3 companies there. And I did it because I needed experience before I actually threw my own event. Cause I'm like, dude, I've never even spoke on stage. Like, what am I going to do here? And so my message to someone that's struggling or new or young is, number one, you gotta have a target, you gotta set a goal, you gotta commit to doing it. But you also can't be afraid to, spend some money along the way. You can't be afraid to really commit to self-development, personal improvement. I still work out every day. Like, I am trying to be the best version of me. And I'm telling you what, we'll have 1,500, 2,000 agents in Vegas. And I can guarantee you, I'll come close to throwing up before I walk out, but no one else will know it, And so, and those agents that are feeling that way, I promise you, if I can make it, the little success I've had, I promise you, you can too. You just got to believe in yourself and commit to never give up. I mean, we're doing a virtual conference in 2 weeks, 8% Nation virtual for free, 1 day. I believe we'll have 10,000 agents register for that. That's my goal. And because I think everything you do, you got to have a goal. And when we do that, our theme is, if you don't quit, you can't fail. Young agent, if you don't quit, you won't fail.
Pretty sure I said that backwards before. That's kind of cool. The only way you fail is to quit. We said this in 2 different directions. Let's make a bumper sticker out of it.
Man, I love it.
Awesome.
So Chris really wants to dive into some of the current climate side of things with you guys on the sales perspective. Chris, it's all you, man.
Yep. So I was definitely Saturday dialed into your webinar while I was running to Staples to buy the adequate supplies to go out and do telesales. And I literally had you in my pocket at the post office as people are panicked, covered in masks, standing 30 feet from each other. But it was fun. I think to learn something, you have to immerse yourself in it, but you can't just dabble in it too. You have to commit to being successful. Being that you are successful in telesales and it's the hot topic, tell us a little bit about how you're adjusting to the current climate, how us as field agents should, how us as agency owners should. Just talk about the current situation a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of agents thriving and there's a lot of agents struggling, right? And I really believe, I keep going back to mindset. I really believe the mindset that you take into it is a big part of it. The agents that are transitioning well they're looking for information. They're coachable. They're connecting with people that are doing it. Like, they're trying to learn. Like, even Ramiz's live video, dude, I am as coachable as they come. I watched all minute and an hour and 10 minutes of that thing, right? Because that dude is a freak, and I need to learn and I need to get better. And you gotta adopt that mentality and realize someone else is doing what I want to do, and it ain't rocket science, right? To go figure out what they're doing and duplicate it and learn from. And right now, think about with field, you need a lead flow, right? With telesales, you need a lead flow, right? With field, you're trying to get in front of them. With telesales, you're trying to qualify them in or qualify them out within the first 3 minutes of the call, right? With field, you're building rapport and fact finding. With telesales, you're building rapport and fact finding. With field sales, you're presenting options and asking them to do business with you with trial closes and all that other stuff, right? With telesales, you're presenting options and asking them to do business with you. I think the main thing that scares people is, and I would say that the biggest thing that new insurance agents struggle with, number one above anything else, is they feel like they need to know everything before they do anything, right? Analysis paralysis. Well, same thing with going from field sales to telesales. They're like, well, all right, I need to know what headset and what dialer and what carrier and what do I say? And when they answer the phone, what do I say back? And oh my gosh, right? It's Ramiz says it's a lot different, and there's parts that are a lot different. But with both, you still got to do something. Even for field sales, a lot of people are still picking up the phone and setting an appointment. And the fastest way to learn is to make a ton of mistakes. And you can't be afraid to do them. Like, I'm constantly looking for things that I'm scared of. I'd never done a webinar like I did a Saturday. The previous Saturday, I'd never done one. We had about 819 agents register. We had 499 attend at any given time, and about a 61% attendance rate, which is really high for a webinar. I had no clue what I was doing. Never done it before. I was scared to death. But I gotta do it, right? So I'm always looking for stuff that I'm scared of, like the conference, and taking risk. Because once you push yourself past that fear, it's amazing the fun and good things that start to happen.
I agree. What would you say some of the things are that people will commonly do wrong on the phone that we can teach them to avoid?
Ooh, that's good. Common things people would do wrong on the phone we can help them avoid. I would immediately say a common theme is that someone would spend a lot of time with someone that is a waste of time. Because they're like, well, it's phone sales. I need to keep them on the phone for as long as possible. Well, my buddy Ramiz would tell you, and I would agree, that if they're in horrible health or they don't have a checking account, I'm not going to talk to them for an hour. Like I want to help people, but I'm in this to help people that I can help and to make a living for my family. So I think that's one huge mistake. Spending a ton of time with someone that can't qualify or that can't pay or that doesn't want to pay in the way that you want them to pay, and that varies. I would say another common mistake is I made 20 dials. Now what do I do? I didn't make a phone sell. Chris, what's going on, man? I thought I was gonna have success at this, bro. The agents need to get to where they can talk to 8 people per day, right? I'm big on math, 8 people per day that the call lasts more than 3 minutes, and they can qualify health-wise and bank account-wise, and that is going to take more than 20 dials. It may take 150 dials to talk to 24 people, for 8 of them to talk to you for more than 3 minutes. You may not have enough new leads. You may have to work some age leads as well, right? But I always talk about the 3 A's that an insurance agent can control. I talk about this on a webinar. You can control your attitude. You can control your action. Most insurance agents don't put forth enough action or activity, right? And you can control how attentive and focused you are. It's really easy to get distracted right now. It's really easy to not be in the moment. But if you want to be successful at anything, especially telesales, you got to have the right mindset. And you got to believe that you can do this, and you got to talk to enough qualified people. Just like in the field, where everybody's got their math, right? You got to have the math at telesales and set a goal for the week and go get it done.
One thing that Ramiz said that goes along with what you just mentioned is your dials. You can't look at it as, well, I have 20 leads, I'm making 20 dials. It's that time, if you were a field agent, that you were going to spend in the car on the way to the next door. That's the time that you're spending dialing. So if you're spending 8, 9, 10 hours a day working, that's 8, 9, 10 hours a day you're working on the phone as well.
Yep.
I thought that was powerful, that shifted the mindset of an agent coming in to do telesales. It's not just sitting at your desk. The time you're spending in that car is the time you're spending on the phone dialing people.
Yeah, that was a big takeaway for me from that podcast with Ramiz too, because it's so true. I mean, a lot of insurance agents, some misconceptions are, okay, it's going to be easier because I don't have to go see anybody. It's going to be shorter because I can just quote them and hope they buy. It's going to be, you know, because I was good at field sales, I'm going to be good at phone sales. You know, there's some misconceptions there that aren't always true.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times folks need to realize you're not going to be good at anything from the very beginning either. If we all had to switch from selling final expense to underwear, none of us would be good this week at it. But eventually, with massive activity, you will find results.
Yes.
So I think people are coming into this, especially veteran agents, thinking, I'm going to write 10,000 this week in 3 days. Absolutely not. I spoke to one of my colleagues who, you know, I live close to, I talk frequently with. It took him 3 weeks before he became comfortable in doing this. 3 weeks, and he's one of the leaders in the industry in face-to-face sales. So setting proper expectations that this crap's hard, it takes just as much time. I was on the phone from the end of our morning call until 6:30 every single night for the last 4 days in a row, and it just took a lot of effort. I was literally writing down notes. That didn't work well. Prep them better for the phone interview. Don't hang up on them by accident. And I wasn't using the dialer. I was literally hand dialing from my cell phone, self-generating Facebook leads, buying them from different vendors, and just spending a lot of money to figure this out.
Yep, I love that. And we may have to come out with some 8% underwear. I don't know, but
Shameless. I love it.
What do you think are some of the things to be aware of or be warned of? I've been watching a lot of content, and it's literally an IMO that has negative zero experience in telesales now teaching people how to sell over the phone. And some of the stuff I'm listening to is wildly contrary to what I've heard true telesales people teaching. So what are some bad things people should be aware of, or things that didn't work for you that people shouldn't make the same mistakes of?
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I first got into telesales back in early 2015, and we actually did it by cold calling, completely cold calling, right? And I'm actually not a big proponent of that now, but if you don't have any money and you can't even afford age leads, like, you got to do something, right? So I did that back then, and I got to where I had no experience, because the previous company I was with forbidded phone sales. Like, you don't quote them, you don't ask health questions, you don't do nothing. Like, you go see them, right? And so that's how I was trained. That's what I did, and I got good at it, right? But when I transitioned to phone sales, it woke me up that it wasn't the same, and I wasn't as good initially as I needed to be. But I put in the hours every single day, and I got to where I was writing about 40 policies a month over the phone, you know, consistently. And I know a lot of people that are still that are writing 40, 50K in premium a month, hand dialing leads, just like you are, just like you're talking about, which is cool, right? You can still just put in a bunch of dials. One thing that actually is a little bit of a, some people know this, some people don't, is actually doing a double dial with telesales will drastically increase your answer rate, right? So call, and you guys know what I'm talking about, calling. For those that don't though, calling, they don't answer, don't leave a voicemail, immediately call back. Right. And so there's those things that we do with field sales to set appointments that also work with telesales. Well, I'm good friends with several of the biggest FE call centers, really good friends. And one of them mentioned that their agents hand dial. And when they double dial, it increases their answer rate, you know? And so there's little things that you'll learn along the way, you know? Most insurance agents are like, we all have somewhat similar personalities sometimes, you know, because you want someone that's a little crazy, a little driven, you know, social, good with people, all those things, right? Coachable, all the things you look for. If you did a personality assessment, I think a lot of insurance agents would fall in, you know, to a higher D, right? Super driven, crazy, risk taker, aggressive, all that. And what a lot of insurance agents end up doing is it's real easy when you get on the phone to rush things, to talk too fast, to confuse a prospect by giving too many options, right? Just like Ramiz, 3 options, highest to lowest, you know? And those are things I always learned as well. And once you get really good on the phone, you'll learn that just like field sales, they're still buying you. They're still buying us, right? You got AMM on your polo, awesome, right? Great at telesales. The prospects could care less.
Yeah.
And carriers aren't going to love that part, but the prospect has no idea and they don't care. I did a video. Also, another thing too, with telesales, I don't ask. Here's a big misconception. I don't ask about price or budget ever. There's a lot of people that do. I don't. And the reason why I don't is I don't want them thinking about price. I don't want to sell them price and then lose them on price. I don't want them thinking budget. I don't sell on budget. I want to, when you get really good at phone sales, you get really good at really getting them to know, like, and trust you by sharing, by slowing down, by building rapport. And then later, I'll offer them what they need. I'll start out with something that's expensive on purpose. And I've got to where I have a certain question, and I can mention it on here if you want me to. I have a certain question that I ask before I even show them options. And I've gotten so good at pitching the benefits and the value and trial closing. And then this one, Remiz would call it a pre-close. I call it a trial close. Same idea. That I ask before I show them options, that I know that they're going to choose one because of this specific thing that I do. I get people to buy before they even know what they're buying. This isn't popular, but I got to where I could actually, I really believe that what we're selling and price, everything else is so irrelevant that you could get bank info before you offered them quotes if you really wanted to. I'm not saying I recommend it, but I could.
Chris is going to try that now.
Well, it just shows that you got
That's a challenge.
the power in the conversation that they're going to buy anyway.
Yeah. So what I'll ask them, okay, because everybody's probably curious since I mentioned I was going to give an example, is after going through each benefit, right, trial closing, etc. Towards the end, I'll tell them, okay, now, Miss Betty, I'm about to show you 3 options. And all 3 options come with all 5 of those benefits, especially the price lock, which I know you loved. Okay. And Miss Betty, I also know which one you're going to choose before I even show you these. Okay. By the way, I really do. Now, before I show you these 3 options and actually talk through these with you, I need you to do me a favor. Can you do me a favor real quick? Yes. Okay, good. Perfect. The favor is when I tell you and explain these 3 options, I just need you to tell me which one makes the most sense to you. Can you do that for me? Yes. Okay, perfect. Excellent. And then I'll go into presenting the 3 options, and they've already bought.
I love it. One thing I wanted to ask, as we've transitioned during this time right now, helping educate people with approach. We don't force anybody to do anything. We present options for them, telesales obviously being one option. One thing I've found, and it's not just with the telesales with the virus taking place, but the failure to take flight is one of the biggest reasons for failure and lack of success overall. What would be your words of encouragement to somebody out there, whether he's 70 years old and he's a final expense agent, or he's 22 and he originally got into the game to sell face-to-face, and now here we are. He's afraid. He's petrified. He's shaking in his boots. I don't know how to pick the phone up. What would be your words of encouragement to him to give it a go?
I just thought of that song. What is it? Petrified.
Yeah.
Stay alive.
Stay alive. I always think of songs, even though I don't even listen to music, but words trigger songs for me. For someone that's out there, man, I would say that one thing that I think is happening right now, and it's honestly bothering me, frankly, and maybe I haven't done enough videos on this, is it's even happening with my own team. And that is, I have my daily Power 5 that I do every single day. So I wake up between 5 and 5:59 a.m. I work out. I write down my goals. I train every day on video, audiobooks, or a book. And I finish with a cold shower, which isn't popular, but I do it because it wakes me up and it forces me to start my day with something I hate. Okay. And I believe in we've got more in the tank than we ever believed we do. Okay. That's where I believe being mentally strong is impactful, right? So I'm working out with it. I've got my trainer coming to my house multiple times a week right now. His gym doesn't want me to publicize that on my Instagram stories because they don't support that, but he is. I support it. And he is when I first started training with him, I was whiny. He broke me, right? I was dying. And in that moment, after that, I said, you know what? That really irritates me. I'm not letting a trainer break me ever again. I don't care how hard it gets. I'm going to say it's too easy. I don't care what happens. I'm going to go harder, and they're never going to see me slow down to the point where they're going to think the workout was too easy and they're going to make it harder next time. And that type of mindset and thinking that way and doing things that way is so, so powerful. So if you were waking up at 6 a.m. to go do field sales, wake up at 6 a.m. to do telesales. Like, people are sleeping in, and, you know, yeah, right. I mean, if you didn't sell in the field in your pajamas, don't sell on the freaking phone in your pajamas. Like, get up, you know. I like, look at you guys. You're all right. You're woke up. You're dressed nice, right? I still come in the office every day because I want to lead by example. You know, like, you can see I've got 8% socks on. I'm not in my pajamas. Like, it's a mindset thing. Like, I just did a training for a company, a team out of Florida, and one of the leaders was in a suit at home, you know, and everybody's publicizing being in pajamas stuff, which is cool. That's fine, whatever, right? But what I mean is, right now is the best time to break those good habits and develop bad habits. We're spending more time on Netflix. We're waking up later. We're not learning. You know, we're losing confidence because telesales is so hard. You know, if you put in the work, if you stay coachable, if your mind is right and you stay focused and determined, and you set a goal that I'm going to do this today, and you don't stop till you hit it. Because what happens is people say, I'm going to make 200 dials today. And then they stop at 179, and do not stop at 179. You know, I don't care if you got to go to a birthday party with the kids and then get back on the phone at 8 o'clock. Doesn't matter. Like, don't stop at 179, because what happens is what you're doing is you're telling yourself, I can't do it. You're psychologically giving yourself an excuse that next time when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to lie and break that promise too. Like, the worst thing you can do is say you're going to do something and then not do it. So anyone can succeed at telesales. Anyone. I'll take the worst agent in the world that will actually put in a couple $100 a day and focus and actually be determined to hitting a target. You guys you're seeing me get excited. I don't, you know, this is you're bringing it out of me. But man, I like mental toughness and just doing what you say you're going to do. And is big to me, man. Like, it irritates me otherwise.
Yeah, Chris, I'm going to kick it to you, but I just want to say you're an X-Men. Your strength is adapt and survive in this type of situation right here. We have one goal. It's adapt and survive. And Chris is my prime example when I'm talking to new producers right now, because this is a guy that wrote over 400,000 in personal production last year, grew, and he's building an agency that does multiple $1 million a year. Same thing with Cole. These guys are elite level producers. They've immediately, no ifs, ands, or buts. There was no excuses. I'm going to fail doing this. They said, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to do it. It's going to suck in the beginning, but I'm going to embrace the suck, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move forward with it. And that's something that I've noticed with producers that were lingering, kind of teetering. They're kind of looking for an excuse to fail, looking for an excuse to get out of the business. And I love to get your perspective on it. That's why I asked that, because right now is a pivotal moment. This is going to go away. This is going to subside. And they say all things shall pass. This will happen as well. But make hay while you can. If you're used to making $5,000 a week, you may only make $3,000 a week, but you got to go get it. Don't fail to take flight. Michael Jordan said, you're going to miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And that's what I'm seeing right now with some of the guys. That's why I want to ask you about it. Chris, I know you got 100 million things you want to ask as well. So
So the coffee's flowing. I've got one personal observation, and I got to parlay off of that. So it's 2020. So 12 years ago, I was a 21-year-old paramedic for Philly Fire. And I wasn't a paramedic yet. I was in the Fire Academy. And the Fire Academy is like a mini version of the military. And for the first 30 to 45 minutes of the morning, after you did the Pledge of Allegiance, after you did a bunch of traditional stuff, they beat the absolute F out of you in PT. You'd run up towers, you'd run around streets, and I was in pretty good shape for 22. but it was really a kick in the face. And the two things we would always tell each other, well, besides the fact that you couldn't leave one of your other cadets behind, it was they're not going to let us die, and it will end at some point. So you're not going to die selling over the phone, and at some point the day will be over. You can take a break and start all over. So that's my kind of parlay between real life and telesales. But when it comes to this, what's going to happen after? Because some people are going to fail during this time frame. Some people are going to fall out of habit, fall out of routine. They didn't save enough money. They're not willing to adapt and overcome. When all those people have fallen away, all of those have risen to the occasion, and a couple of people in the middle have kind of floated through it. What happens after all of this? What do you think, Cody?
Ooh, that's good, man. I think we will see the strong, mentally strong survive. I really do. I think after this, if someone was successful at telesales during this time, I think it's going to be, they're going to have to choose personal preference wise on whether they prefer to go out in the field or continue to do this. I don't think people will make fun of telesales as much as they used to, which Ramiz will appreciate. I know he's gotten given a hard time for years, but right now, everyone needs a Ramiz in their corner, right? Whether it's Ramiz or not, or whether it's somebody else, or whether it's one of you guys, right? So just in general, after this, I think what's going to happen is I think this time, for those that do survive, it's going to prove to us that we can endure anything if we want to. Like, I really believe that. Like, right now, I actually really believe this. And I get a little carried away and excited and crazy sometimes. But I believe I could cold call, sell the worst product in insurance for the highest price, and still make it. Like, I really do. And that's insane. And I believe that if I can do that, then anyone can succeed right now in telesales. I did a video a while back, a few years ago, it was really funny, on price doesn't matter. And I had a carrier actually send me an email. And they're like, hey, your video ended up in our hands, or we saw it, or whatever they said. And we don't agree. Our compliance team doesn't agree with price doesn't matter, And they kind of took it out of context a little bit, But what I meant by that is that relationship and value and everything else, most important part. And they're buying you. They don't care about the carrier or how much they're paying generally, right? And Ramiz will say he sells a higher price product than most people that do sell over the phone. So that kind of proves my theory. And right now, to answer your question as well, right now, if you can get good at building a relationship with people over the phone and getting them to know, like, and trust you right now, just imagine how much even better you are going to be at field sales if you choose to go back to it. Because if you can connect on the phone, oh my gosh, it's going to be easy in the home.
I think that's powerful. You just said right there, I think one of the coolest things that's going to come out of this whole thing is you're going to leave, when it goes back to normalcy, you should be better than you were when you went into it, because you adapted, you survived, and you did some things you weren't used to. Cole, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. So I've been itching to ask this question, and I love everything you're saying. And you probably have already said a couple of things that I was hoping you would say anyway. But as we're kind of finishing up here, in the midst of all of the doom and gloom we're hearing, right? Give us a few positive things that are going to come out of this time where we're all kind of forced to figure this thing out.
Yeah. And I love that, because one thing that I have chosen to do and not do is nobody's seen me do a post or a video in relation to what's going on in the world. Every carrier in the world wants to send me an email about what they think about what's going on. Everybody I know every influencer wants to put a video up about it, and I'm like, dude, I don't care. If I want some negative news, I can go to the, flipping Facebook and the local news and the media and everywhere else. Right. Right now, it's tougher to be positive more than ever. So I love that you're asking that question. And being positive is a choice. Being positive is a choice. And right now, it's harder to make that choice than it ever has been. I don't want to be insensitive. I'm thinking about everybody, and we're going to all get through it. I'm not worried about that per se. And you know what, anybody that, you know, this is affecting, obviously my prayers are with them, you know. However, I can control whatever I want to control. If I want to listen to a bunch of negative stuff and complain and talk to my friends that are negative all day and not get anything done, I can't. If I want to be positive and create my own personal bubble of positivity and not talk to people that talk about it, then I can. You know, if I want to follow people that are positive and are helping people right now in this time, you know, like you guys are with this podcast, then I can. And right now, you have a choice. I can choose positivity or I can choose negativity. And I guarantee you, if you choose negativity, it will impact production. It will impact results. It will impact your family. You will help less people. You will make less money. And you will end up maybe being like the other 92% that fail. Hopefully not. But I know that everything we do in life is a decision. Every single thing. Being positive and having the right attitude, my first A is an attitude. Your attitude is within your control, right? And a lot of insurance agents are going through this struggle right now because if you take a DISC assessment, like I talked about earlier, I don't know why I always bring that up, but someone that's a high D wakes up ticked off like they've never accomplished anything in their life. And there's a lot of people, you guys are like that. A lot of people are watching this right now the exact same way. I wake up and people will say, you know, Cody, you've got, you know, a few subscribers and you've been doing a bunch of videos. You got some good stuff going on. I feel like I have accomplished diddly. I wake up wanting to accomplish more. And a lot of people watching this are the exact same way. So right now, everything's a decision. You can choose to be positive. You can choose to be negative. And I'm choosing to be positive. So hope you will too.
Outstanding.
You get me worked up, man. You get me excited.
I'm about to flip my desk and go start cold door knocking people in my neighborhood right now, even though they don't need it. We appreciate you tremendously. We know, number one, something that's powerful about this for me selfishly is we have no affiliation. Like, we don't work together. This is just, for me, it's selfishly, once again, I'm thankful that you did this. I'm thankful Ramiz did it. Thankful I'm going to hit Landon up at some point. I'm thankful that you're doing this because you don't have to. It just shows, to go back to your core, that all of these things that you talk about, that the whole purpose behind 8% Nation, it's true. Because you don't have to be on this podcast with us, but you genuinely care about guys getting better. And this isn't about recruiting for you. You're not on here. We didn't pay you to be on here. Probably could have. But you did it. And it goes back to the whole purpose behind 8% Nation. And we appreciate you, man.
Thank you, buddy. I also want to bring up that you mentioned that you guys were excited to have me on. I'm telling you, it means more to me that I'm on with you guys than you being on with me. I promise. I guarantee it. I'm telling you, like, I view it as a more humbling, exciting experience for me than you guys do. And I feel it as I truly believe that I'm lucky to be on this, and dude, however I can help, I'm in, man. Because I'm telling you, 4 years ago, I dreamt of moments like this, and I've been following you guys for a long time, whether you realize it or not, doing incredible things, and you're always going to continue to do incredible things. We're all young, you know. We're not all old and selling and everything else, right? And I am truly honored to be on this thing. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you. Let's give some shout outs. Let's recognize some things that you guys have going on. Anything you want to plug right now? We love doing this at the end. Anything you want to throw out there to everybody?
I love that you guys do this too, man. I appreciate you asking that. Dude, I mean, honestly, someone could never buy training or consulting. They could never buy leads. They could never buy marketing. You know, wonderful, right? As long as they succeed, I don't care. I would love for people to attend 8%. In fact, like you guys have talked about, I encourage people to attend 8%. Events in general have changed my life. I mean that. I really do. And I'm not just saying that because I threw a conference, right? And I'm never going to do anything that I believe would disappoint anyone in our industry. because I believe in giving back. I believe in changing the statistic. I believe in helping people. And our industry needs something to rally around and something to collaborate on and something to like a lot. Our industry is used to like, oh, you sell this, or oh no, or you do this. No, we cannot be friends. We cannot talk. Dude, I talk to everyone and I love it. And I think everyone else should too. And obviously you guys do too, right? So the one thing I like to immediately plug is 8% Nation Virtual. You can go to 8%nation.com to register for that free one-day event. You know, Jordan Belfort, the Wolf, is going to be on it. It's totally free. It's going to be, 6, 7, 8 hours of content, ton of speakers. And then 8% Nation in July, 24th and 25th. Okay. For anyone that's questioning it, it's July 24th, 25th in Vegas at the Palms. And as of right now, it is a 100% go. And I look forward to seeing thousands of people there.
And if you've never been to 8% Nation, I'm telling you right now, if you're an agency owner out there, you're like, oh, I don't want my guys getting recruited. It's not happening. If you wonder content, how well is it put together, it's freaking unbelievable. The welcome package that you get from the time you walk in the door and you get greeted, you get, your seat, your badge, all this, it is organized to the T. And then as soon as the show starts, it is just that. It is entertainment that Cody mentioned is lacking in our business. That's why I love your channel, love what Landon's got going on. I love what some of the other guys in our business that would be considered quote-unquote competition. We are in a business that's lacking entertainment. I'm not going to say lacking content, but lacking it being put out there, because the old fogey mentality that Cody's talking about is, hey, this is my secret content. I'm not going to share it with you. I love that you're putting it out there. And if you have the means and you have the opportunity, be in Las Vegas. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited about it. I think the three of us are going to be there, so you can bank on that. But we're fired up, man. We appreciate you tremendously.
Thank you.
It's going to be a victory party for people that survived it and who are getting back out there and continuing forward.
Absolutely, buddy.
Thanks, man. We appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. Cole, Chris, Chase, appreciate you guys as well. Love what you're doing, and thank you for the time.
Thank you, Cody. Appreciate it, man.